tissue, get a tissue, it's mucus in the head. Good morning, everybody. I gotta talk about a few things. I was not ready. This was about to get ready. There's something I don't know the words to most songs. But what I know is this kid. Oh, my voice is jacked up. This kid is me. Have y'all seen this picture? This is my dude. This is my guy with the fish in his mouth. This child gets it. I gotta show you this. It's a shame, oh, it's not Sweet 16, something about that, It's in your head and you're fighting with your tanks and your bombs and your votes and your levers and your ignorance Don't be stupid, they playing everybody in your head. Zombie, what's in your head is probably CNN and Fox and BBC and NBC and CBS and all the billionaires television. Yeah, I know, but you didn't pay for this, did you? Good morning, everybody. All right, let me stop. I was hungry. Damn it. I'm like, damn it. They're like, yay, good Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Oh my God. For me, it was only a few minutes. I love Zombie from the Cranberries. And y'all, my friends are like, thank God. Oh my God. I had to turn the volume down. Listen, let me be me. I don't say nothing when you being you. Let me be me. I like to sing in the morning. I know I can't sing. I never said I could. Okay? I just get in my zone. Good morning, everybody. And the timer was jacked up this morning, so I got started too soon. Whole lot we got to talk about today. It's in your head, zombies. It's in your head. I want to ask a timer question. Jacked up this morning, so I got. What have you learned from Shurtdownicides? Have you learned any lessons? I know everybody wants to get to fighting and that's a fake and it's a plan. It wasn't a plan. It's this word into the world, the zombies and all that stuff. Have you learned anything? I've learned a whole lot. I want to talk about lessons learned. Lessons learned. And don't nobody else send me that Obama video. No, don't even send it to me. Don't send it to me. I didn't watch it. I don't want to watch it. You might have to, but I don't want to. I don't want to. I already know what he said. What's the name of his, because Obama gave a talk. And of course, the first person who sent it to me is somebody in my family. That's like, I know what he said. He just blamed everybody else for what he did. And the people who love him, worship him, they not going to say he actually did it. They're all working together, people. They're all working together. Please let me know that you know that they're all working together. Money and power decides in this world, not Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Q, Jivin Bowden, or Kamala Harris. None of them decide. They don't get to decide. They don't have any money. I have no power. We haven't taken their land back. They haven't taken their land back. You say eat the rich. You're not going to eat the rich if you don't know where the riches come from. You don't know where wealth comes from. You're never going to get the wealth. Right? If that's what you want, you can eat the rich. You can get all the money out that bank account. It ain't gonna get you nowhere. They don't care nothing about money. It's about power. Just like I posted something this morning about the Cranberries and zombies. I have to go to it. But I think Christine replied back. She said she was out picking blackberries. I'm like, you got a whole bucket of blackberries. Man, that's wealth. That's wealth. Just to be able to walk out in a field or your yard and pick a whole daggone bucket of blackberries. That's true wealth. That's wealth. That's power. If you don't ever get that land back, you ain't never gonna get their power. That's why I don't get two damns what Bo got to say. Not interested. I'm not interested. Because I know it's all hypocritical. He said exactly what his people wanted him to hear. That's what Obi said. Obi said, because that's what Obi always said. Obi says exactly what his people want to hear. And the same thing Trump said. Same thing. He said exactly what his people want to hear. When you realize that, let me know. And what does Jivin Bolden say? He says exactly what he's supposed to say because he picked him to say something, and he can say something when he says something because they got him on some new drugs. It's obvious. That brother putting sentences together. This is me right here. This is it right here. This is my family's picture. Y'all see? Is this in another dimension? When I had lighter skin, this is me right here. I'm the kid on the side. Can y'all see him? Don't ever go with the crowd. Don't ever go with the crowd. I know that I've been a rebel my whole life. My problem is I haven't been a rebel enough. I need to be more of a rebel. Every day, I'm defying the system best that I can. I feel so sorry for y'all who live with zombies. I just want to take a moment and a moment of silence for everybody who married somebody, moved in with somebody, loves somebody that just ain't got no damn clue how the world works. I love you and I feel sorry for you. I don't know how y'all do it. Because you know what? Social evolution is hard enough. It's hard enough when you live in a time where people want to evolve. But when you live in a time where it's popular to be politically ignorant, to be intellectually lazy, when that's popular, I don't know how y'all live with people like that. I love y'all. That's love. That's love. If you watching this and somebody living with you and you trust the TV, that person loves you. You know how I say at the end of my videos, I say how I love you. I do. I love. I don't love you that much. I love you that much. They love you a hell of a lot more because I can't do it. I have to have peace when I go home. I can't go home to war. Somebody watching the news telling me I need to wear a muzzle, man. Yeah, I tell you where to put that muzzle. What did you learn? I think we should have learned a lot of things from the shutdown demic. What have y'all learned? I've learned what I've known. All right, Brother Juan Wade, reinforce what you knew. That's a good thing. No one watched the DNC lie. Well, Jimmy, then how you gonna know what they lying about, man? Jimmy T, if we don't watch well, I assume that Obi was speaking for the DNC once again. Colonizers. the left arm of the colonizer and the right arm. That's why I don't do left nor right, because it's all attached to the same colonizer, Roman, Babylonian body. That's me right there with the kid with the fish in his mouth. See, there's the people who do what they're told to do, and then there's people who do what they want to do. That's my boy, right? That's my boy. That right there, that's my boy. In fact, you know what? To be honest with you, I got a boy like that. I have a son like that. He doesn't really care what nobody else does. He didn't care what nobody else says. He's gonna do what he want to do. And so, look at this picture. And you say, what the hell am I talking about? Somebody in this picture is having a good time. All right, but no, take that back. Everybody in this picture is having a good time, but somebody is experiencing life just a little bit more. Somebody's getting just a little more sense from him put than others because he's doing his own thing. He ain't worried about what y'all up to. All right, good morning, everybody. Somebody is enjoying life. Sometimes you got to put a fish in your mouth. Why? Because don't nobody else put a fish in their mouth. He know what it tastes like. Now you know what it tastes like. Flop around his mouth. He may not ever do it again. He might just throw all that up, throw up that peanut butter and jelly sandwich he had for lunch. But you know what? He's experiencing life. You gotta live life. Live life. Go through life and get banged up, get beat up, put a fish in your mouth. Enjoy it. Bang this temple up and then go to the other side of whatever we go to afterwards. You gotta live life. Don't go with the masses. The masses are always headed for the cliff. I got the buffalo behind me. Hang on. How they send them buffalo? But this is my boy, right? I like this kid. He know what time it is. Everybody else to me is clueless. See, the buffalo always headed for the cliff. And I don't know much love to y'all, how y'all do it. And y'all live with people who ain't got no damn clue and don't want to have a clue. It's difference between people who don't have a clue and people who know that you might have a clue and they are clueless and they want to stay clueless, the willful ignorant. I don't know how y'all do it. Good morning. What did y'all learn? That's what I want to know. What did y'all learn from Shutdown Demic? Ooh, lasted banned videos. Freedom for Real. What video is that, Lily Scott? What is that a banned video of that I can't show? I learned that. I learned the allegiance of social media to their advertisers. I learned that. California is the estimated profit for China. What is the estimated profit for China? What does that mean, Jennifer Bodana? Because China's been buying up land in the United States. I learned that too. What we talking about there? Neo, U.S. to we the people. All right. Good morning, Christine. Juan, straight up like that. Desiree. Ash and smoke outside, red sky. That's not good, Desiree. That's probably them. I learned that too. I learned the government spraying that stuff in the sky, and like Denzel said, they ain't spraying vitamins in that sky. Good morning, Norma. The survivors of the U.S. Liberty are finally given a platform to tell their story. Oh, Robin, go and tell me something. Ooh, got to be careful with that too, because that one got me. That's where I got banned one time. They were threatened for the past 50 years into silence. Their lives were destroyed and had many other. Their lives were destroyed as many others because of war agenda and protecting the interests of Israel. True News has given them a platform to finally tell their story, what's happened that day. That's made a docu-series to honor them. Now, is that the new one, Robin, or is that the old one? Because I saw the old one. I'll be honest with you. That brought tears to my eyes. That brought tears to my eyes. And I learned that before Shutdowndemic. I learned that before Shutdowndemic. But if y'all don't know y'all don't know the story of the USS Liberty, go to True News. I know that they did 2 interviews, part 1, part 2. It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. I encourage you to never in life say the words "support the troops" if you have not read the story of the USS Liberty. That brought tears in my heart, Robin. I came from a military family. But but once again, this is the difference between children and adults. Children don't want to know the real world. They can go their whole life and be in 50-some-year-old children. The adults want to see the ugly so they can make good decisions on the ugly. So thank you for that, Robin. I'll click on it. I'll check it out later. If that's a new one or if that's the old one. Hey, Lola Mar, how you doing this morning? Brother Jimmy. Yeah, Jimmy, well, sometimes you gotta watch what's going on. You got to know what's coming. Gotta know what's coming. I'll leave that up to y'all. I pretty much know what Obama said. He bad, we good, he bad, orange man bad, I didn't, but I did, and orange man bad, but I didn't, but I did, orange man. United States Incorporated, they really don't care who the damn president is. It could be Daffy Duck, they can do the same damn thing, blowing up people. He built more prisons in elementary school, Trump put more cops on the street, secret police and posse, anti-posse comitatus stuff, Jive and Bowden, he wrote the crime bill, and Kamala Harris was a dirty cop. So what? what did Obama say that? And why is he still speaking? Was it on Netflix? Because I know they're gonna turn that into Obamaflix. And if you love Obama, I'm sorry, I don't. I do. No, I take that back. No, I love Obama, I do. But I understand he's out that office. He probably can say some truthful things now. And he's still lying for Babylon. So what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? You want me to say slavery is a good idea? You want me to say it's a good idea to continue mass incarceration? You want me to say it's a good idea that he built more prisons? No, I'm not going to do that because that's criminal. It's like voting. Y'all know I don't vote, but there's a difference between not voting and protesting the vote. Not voting is a vote. Not voting is a vote. If you just don't want to get out the house and you don't vote, then that's voting. That's voting for the system. The system just, writes you down as someone who just doesn't really care who wins. Protesting a vote is a different thing. Yeah, I'm all about protesting the system. I'm about removing consent. I'm about, I don't give 2 damns if the DNC lose. I don't give 2 damns if the GOP loses. I don't really care who the president is because I'm not your slave. I'm not your monkey. I'm not your monkey. Don't tread on me. I'm sick of y'all treading on me. Walking around, got most of my family members and friends out here wearing face muzzles, right? And they said, oh, do you know what? I got pissed off this morning. I saw a friend's profile, just proudly had on the face muzzle. Like, it's just like, it's the virtue signaling thing. After a while, it'll get to you, because I'm like, why in the hell are you virtue signaling for a system that has no virtue? That's insanity to me. That's it. That's what I learned from Shutdowndemic. That's the greatest thing that I learned, is that we got a lot of people that just don't think at all. At all. They don't think at all. And they will virtue signal for the virtueless to keep that system in power. All right. Thank goodness it's not my reality. Anna, make your own reality. Make your own reality. I'm going my own way, Anna Kulnek. I'm the little brother in the picture right there. I'm the little brother with the fish in the mouth. Everybody else can pose for mommy, do what mommy says. Hell no. I'm going to do what I want to do. That fish look delicious. I'm going to put them in my mouth up to the eyeballs. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do because you tell me to do it. I'm not going to do that no more. I'm no longer what is that called? An order follower? I have no interest in following the orders. Love is what I got. Ooh, Jasmine, that's what you're supposed to give it. That's what we're supposed to get. There's a scripture that says that owe no person nothing but to love them. That's all you owe people is to love them. You don't owe to put a mask on them. You don't owe them to take their mask off. You don't owe them anything but to love them. Hey, Lisa, good morning. What is love, Norma asked? Love is a word, Norma, in English to mask the hundreds of words that actually were used for love. Love is something so deep, there's just no way you could cover it in a lifetime speaking about it, which is why the English only have one word for it. That's why I don't give two damns about the King's English and I misspell everything and jack grammar up because I don't care, Norma. Love is, I guess, is something that you do. So if I can simplify it, it's something that you do and make people want to be here more. If I'm allowed to say that, if I'm allowed to put that in that space, right? There are a whole bunch of words a whole bunch of meanings to it, is my understanding from the different cultures. Love is just when you're doing something that makes people want to stick around. And I guess the opposite is when you're doing stuff that makes people not want to stick around. And people are like, damn it, I love being here on earth because that Norma keeps doing this, that. Norma keeps saying this and that, saying that, and I love being here because Norma is here. If you ask me what love is, that's what I would say. And it would probably be wrong because it's just so much more. Home must be peace. Only way to find your flow. It has to be, Jasmine. It has to be. I was thinking about this morning. Like, that's real love. It's real love to be trapped in the apocalypse with people just don't have no clue and don't want to have a clue. There was a post that fit in. Lazily intellectual. I like this new word. I don't like the new words that young people come up with. I like this one. Like evolution is hard enough. It's hard enough to fix and solve real problems. But evolution is hard enough in a time like this when most people are just intellectually lazy, right? They just want to fit in. They don't want to help nothing. They don't want to solve nothing. They don't want to see any real problems. They don't want to address anything. They just want to be on a team. They just want to wear their mask or not wear their mask. They want to protest to restart slavery or they want to protest for Black lives. They don't really care. There's no passion. There's no love in that heart. They don't really believe in what they speak. They just want to be on a team. They just want to be on a team. So my hat's off to people who live with people like that. My hat's off to people who love people. You deal with people like that, you got a greater strength than I'll ever have. Because I don't. I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you my weaknesses. My weakness is definitely not like sitting around and dealing with someone on a daily basis that is willfully ignorant and happy to be. That's what I meant by that. But home must be a place of peace. That's what it is for me, Jasmine. I have to have peace. I have to have a place to go reboot and just turn all this colonizing mess off. Anyway, so what have y'all learned from the scam, shutdown demic? Whatever side you're on, don't ever be scared to talk around me, people. I always appreciate what everybody has to say. I don't always agree, but I appreciate what you have to say. Good morning, Valerie Castillo. It's been a minute. Well, I've seen you over here in a minute. How do I know they are lying? Their mouth is open and they're speaking. Isn't that right, Jimmy T? If the mouth is open, we got issues. Obama's mouth was open last night. I guess it was last night. I don't know. Trump's mouth was open too, so, it is what it is. That is true. It is true. You know what? I'm going to take that and apply that to the shutdown thing. How did I post this morning? I posted something about the shutdown, which I don't really want to talk about. But, one thing I learned. Ooh, that was from that post. It was one thing that I learned. And you gotta, not necessarily viral, but here we go right here. It wasn't viral, but 75 comments in a few minutes at something people, I like to ask questions. And by the way, if you don't want to be on blast, that's why my whole profile is public, because I ain't got nothing to hide. I don't give two damns about your CIA, your FBI, your Homeland Security, your friends, your job, slave masters, your politicians. Everything I post is completely public. Popo, police, I'm not, they're all my family, just a lot of them are ignorant, but I'm fine with that. So you don't want people to see what you got to say. My profile is the wrong profile to post. Just sit back and watch, but don't engage, because I might put you on blast if you say something deep. I mean, the things I learned, like one of the things I learned, like I posted something here. The good sister Ellen had something to say. We've accepted 30,000. This is what I learned. We accepted 30, which I think it's 25 actually. I think it's 25 to 30,000 deaths from flu season every single year, and we don't give two damns. I didn't give two damns. I didn't even really know, but I didn't care. I didn't look it up. I wasn't concerned with it. 25 to 35,000 people every year in this country die of the flu, and I didn't care. And that's what I learned. Right now, I know Big Pharma ain't the answer. I know that. I know Big Pharma, and I know the people poisoning people ain't the answer, you know, but, and then she asked me to explain that, which was, well, we turn off people's immune systems, right? We have corporations that literally sell products that turn off your immune system. We have corporations that sell products that they put in the water, right? That one, the chemotherapy drugs turn them off, but two, other chemicals turn them off, and three, there are other ones that just tax your immune system. And so the natural flu that comes around might kill you. It's an extension of your herd immunity. It's a part of the natural world, but we have corporations that are waging war on the natural world. And so, anyway, I'm gonna take it to my answer. I mean, this is my answer for it. This is one thing that I learned, that I failed, right? That I failed to do my part best that I could to help educate the people around me how to be healthy. Can't make nobody be healthy, but I did the best I could. You know, there was something at the end I wanted to say. Right. So the thing is the thing that's killing everybody, all this stuff is subsidized. In my country, I don't know about your country, and this was kind of my response to the sister, which was that, they subsidize the things that are killing people. Right? They subsidize the things that are turning off people's immune system, that are giving them their problems. So me trusting this governing corporation is a mistake, right? Me trusting people who are turning off your immune system with immune system problems is like us trusting Jack the Ripper to be police. Why would you trust someone that creates the problem, or certainly doesn't make the problem any better, to help you with the problem? Right? That's a big thing that I learned. Hell no, I'm not interested in what they got to say at all, right? I'd rather die free and be left to my own devices and my own critical thought than to live long and be fearful and trusting of those who have proven I can't trust them. Right? Well, I'm not too interested in what Obama has to say. I'm not too interested in what Trump has to say. But how come you post the stuff that Trump has to say? Because Trump is funny. That's why I get a laugh. I like to laugh in the apocalypse. Trump isn't a politician. He's not a lawyer. He's a Babylonian. Right? He's in that office that needs to go away. We need to build a world that has no authority and control. Collapse the system. But he's the current person in the spot, and he's kind of funny to me. He says funny stuff. I don't know, and it pisses you off, and I appreciate where he is at this point in time. I do. I don't want him there. I don't want that office to be there. I don't think we should even have a government. I don't believe in authority, but it's funny that he's there because he pisses people off, and he makes people not want a government. How can I not? I mean, I don't regularly. I don't. Most of my days, I go months without hearing anything any politicians have to say because I don't really care. But every now and then, because we live with people who resonate, right, in politics, and if we don't know what they're lying about, what they're making up, what they don't understand, we can't really reply to them. So a lot of good replies here. I appreciate y'all filling in. Jennifer said how easily manipulated the majority of humans are. Through the media. Didn't we learn that lesson? My God, have we learned that lesson? That media, I had no idea how powerful it is. How powerful a media can be to turn brother against brother, brother against sister, husband against wife, wife against husband. It's insanity to me what we trust. Brother Jason had a good one too. What's this? Can y'all see? I can see that. But I've been a slave my entire life. I've been right about everything. People are really, really effing stupid, and I'm nearly as pissed off about it as I should, or I'm not nearly as pissed off about it as I should be. And I agree with that. I've been a slave my whole life, and I guess, no, not really slave. We're more commodities than slaves, but I learned that during the shutdown demic. Oh no, I guess that was, no, it was during the shutdown demic. I learned what Kanye West said is true, and slavery is a choice. You know, I had time. I could buy nor sell, so I had to study and look up some things. And looking into the history of slavery, Kanye said that. People disagreed. I agree with him now. Slavery is a choice. What they chose back then, I got to make a choice now. We're in some sort of a paradigm shift right now, right? Like the example, I was talking to someone yesterday. It's hard to stop a boat when it's moving, right? When you got an ocean liner or something, it's just moving. You can't do it. You can't stop the Titanic. You can't turn it around because it's moving. It's too hard to turn it around when it's moving. But after it hits that iceberg, it slows down. Then you can turn it around. And we live in a time where we can shift the paradigm. Right? We live in a time where we can make something that's sentient. We can make some sort of a system. I don't like the word government. Governing system, facilitating system that facilitates resources and land to people that's sentient, that's not based in dark, vibing politics of stealing from one person to give to another. Why don't we change the paradigm? And I posted somewhere around here that that paradigm is what's hard to change because at the principal level, most people don't want to change it. They just want to fit in. They want to be in a group. They want to go with their identity. Their identity says to do this, they do that, and they're proud of it. They virtue signal with it. We never, when we get to these moments in history where we can shift the paradigm, where the Titanic hit an iceberg, do we stop and say, you know what? We were going the wrong way anyway. Icebergs everywhere. Why the hell are we going? We're going the wrong way anyway, right? We're creating apathetic children. We're creating that Twitter post. Did y'all see the post where the kids were trying to run over the cat with the car? I can't even post it. It pisses off my cat people. The kids are going back and forward, back and forward. Kids all swimming around the car, yelling and screaming to run over the cat. And then finally the guy pulled off and they beat the cat to death, I guess, with bats or whatever. And that pisses off pet owners, pisses off the cat owners. Me, I just look at it and say, people eat cats, man. They put them in barbecues every single day. They fry them up and eat them. People do that to cows. How is it any different? People do that to chickens. How is that any different? People do that to people, even if you're vegan or vegetarian. How are we any different than those kids? See? It's weird when you look in the mirror. Things get a little weird because then you got to change your own behavior. So for me, the system is what's got to change. It's the system. We need to stop manufacturing us. We need to stop manufacturing kids that would, for no reason, for no apparent reason, even for a reason, murder a cat in the street with a car. I mean, you can take them all, put them in prison if you're mad at them, but what's that going to do? We're still going to manufacture more of them. We crank apathetic kids off that become apathetic adults off of this assembly line like it ain't nothing. Brother Juan is in the house. That's right. What you got there, brother? The education, eradication beam, right, worked. They keep shooting it too, right? Brother Juan, he says deep stuff, but I had no idea what he was talking about. I still don't. But I understand education, eradication, right? We're not educating kids, we're indoctrinating. We're not, I was thinking, was he talking about the television? Because how do we eradicate true education, right? True education comes from nature. It comes from example. It comes from the ecosystems we all live in. It doesn't come from no damn billionaire television and mass media. That's the first thing I was thinking. I think he was going to talk about a beam that beams into your house that makes you crazy, tells you things that aren't true, that you believe because your friends around you believe them, because you turn into a station that has a form of bias, and you love it because it confirms your bias. Like my family member who sent me that Obama speech. I didn't listen to it, Juan. Did not listen to it. I think I might have to eventually, but and it's just like I explained, it's just crazy. It's crazy to me because you can't really tell people. I try my best, but we're failing. I'm failing. Right? You might be doing good. I'm failing. I failed at helping the people around me build up their immune systems so they don't get sick like I do. And now it's flu season, and they'll turn me in like a Gestapo Nazi. Right? they're part of the Gestapo, and for my own good, right? So it's my failing. Now, you can't make people do anything, but when you look at this, I think, as kung fu, you look at this as life, you look at this as a we, not as a me, not as an I, but we're all connected. For whatever reason, however I talk to my family members, however I talk to my friends, people in my circle who would turn me in proud, quarantine, or whatever it is. No difference than calling the police on your children. No different. But we fail to talk to people, and I try to always examine where I fail. So Brother Ron and Juan is right. In terms of education, eradication, they've destroyed it. People aren't critical thinking. You know, people aren't being educated in the truth. They're just being indoctrinated to be in conflict with everybody else. Yeah, shut down demic. That's what I call it, Juan. Shut down demic. Why? Because we killed over 1 million people. They want to do it again. They want to kill millions more, and people running around virtue signaling are okay with that. And I think that's a bad idea. Just how ignoring the 30,000 people who die of flu season every year is a bad idea too. And they're right about that. They're right about that. You know, but we have to move forward. Pastor preaches on New World Order, COVID-19 vaccine. Oh boy. Yeah, you got me on the V word, Lily. I'm not interested. My body is just fine. It's not broken. I don't need anybody to fix it. Damn sure not no megalomaniac billionaire, powerful people who spreading chemicals all over the planet that gave it the immune system challenge it had as a child. Obama's on my blacklist. Why is he on your blacklist, Gene? He's just a dude. He's a dude. I don't hate him. I love him. But like Martin Luther King said, it's a good thing that Christ said, you gotta love people. You ain't gotta like them. I don't like the job he did. I don't like the job he does. I don't like the lies that fall out of his mouth. And I certainly don't like the Babylon that he chose to work for. I don't like colonization. I think that man, like this man, like Trump, is in a powerful position that probably has no power. The most powerful thing you can do is get on the microphone. And if I were on the microphone, oh my goodness, wow, the music is way too loud. I didn't even turn it down. I'm sorry about that. Goodness gracious, that was loud. Woo, I'm surprised y'all even heard anything coming up my mouth. Okay, thank you. I got a whole procedure I do when I do this in the morning. I skipped that. I was off singing Cranberry Zombie, having a good time. Christine learned that power 100% corrupts. The people are 100% conditioned to be safe, and she's right about that. I wonder sometimes though, is it that people want to be safe or people are easy to scare? That's what I wonder. Are people, do they want to be safe or are they just easy to scare? I think there's a little something different in that. Oh good, y'all got it. Y'all got it. There you go. There you go. Whew. Look, everybody like, hey, turn the music down. Much better. Sorry about that. Did y'all hear what I said? Do I need to go back and repeat it? I hate to repeat stuff. But it was my fault, so, you know. We got to take accountability. It's like Yemen. It's like, damn it, I hate for my economy to be collapsed, but damn it, I did it. We helped destroy these nations, so we got to take it on the head. God is love. Yes, absolutely, God is love. Voting is routine. Stress that the system runs to estimate what percentage of the populace are still something, both fine. They just rolled off the screen. But it's a waste of time. I think that's what he's going to say. It's just confirming of the system. It's giving your consent that it's okay to blow up other people's nations and steal their resources. I suspect that's what he said. Love is intelligent. Energy is everything. Absolutely, Juan. That sounds interesting to me. Love is intelligent. Energy, which is everything, everywhere, and we give energy to things. Voting is giving your energy to something. Not voting is giving your energy to something. Loving people is giving your energy. Hating people is giving your energy to something, and different types of energy as well. Different types. What you focus on, you quantumly become entangled with. What are they truly afraid of? Death, that's it. Well, yeah, Juan, because they think they can die. You know, I think the most powerful thing is probably spirituality or religious or quantum physics is because when people realize that you're just energy, you don't actually ever die, then you can live here the way you're supposed to. So I don't know why people fear death, but explains to me why they attack religion so much, why they attack spirituality so much, why they're so scared of these things they call terrorists, people with true faith and true belief, because they really don't care if they blow themselves up or you blow them up. They're going to live how they want to. Back in, reminder, Dell Big Trees on today, 1 p.m. Hopefully, they didn't delete them. They're going to get them eventually. Terrorism. And isn't that a word? Terrorism. And the real terrorists aren't ever the ones that are the poor people in other countries that we blow up and are trying to rob and loot. The terrorists are always here. The terrorists are always close. You know that saying, like, keep your enemies close, keep your friends close and your enemies closer? They're true terrorists. Keep us close as hell. They're riddled all throughout our governing corporation. Very intelligent people are very afraid of very obvious viral hoax. Very intelligent people are very afraid of a very obvious viral hoax. You know what, Rebecca? There are people who are very, very scared. I would blame that on the mirror neurons, I think, Rebecca. Now we're talking about the mirror neurons. I would blame that because if you're watching television and you're just over trusting of television, then you can be all the intelligent you want. Your body is still mimicking what it's seeing on television. You probably feel tickles in your throat. They're probably getting real symptoms. And all we can do, like talked about yesterday, all you can do is tell people, and all we can do is warn people, and we got to go through it together. Whatever befalls this medical police state, this creating a global billionaire corporate run medical police state where no human being has no right, because that's what all the corporations want. They just need to make money. They're not a thing. They're a system. Systems don't have feelings and emotions. They're not out to get you like viruses. They're not alive. They just have a job to do, and the corporation's job to do is take all the money it can get. Like a government's job to do is take all the power it can get. So if you enjoy power and you enjoy money, the last thing that you should be cheering for is corporations and government, because they are anti to the things that you feel that you need. I haven't learned anything that surprised me. Kentucky Fried Mama, that's a good question. Did anything surprise me? I learned a whole lot, but did I? Hang on. That was loud. Whew. All right, there we go. Answer machine cut off. It's seconds to midnight. Here comes thousands of years of hell to those that survived this. Dumbed down, controlled stock. It is seconds to midnight. That was Cat Stevens. Cat, I appreciate you, and you tagged me in that earlier post. We were talking about the first video I saw that got me interested in virology. Right, like what I learned about viruses. I had no idea really what a virus was. I had no idea. And the first video, the brother you tagged me in, where he just basically said viruses aren't alive. He went through the details. He was the one that gave me, and I think I did a watch party on it. He was the one that gave me the inspiration to actually find out what a virus is. And that boggles my mind. It boggles my mind that I went my whole life agreeing with a war on nature, right? A war on fighting extension of our herd's immune system, not actually knowing what it is. And I rewatched the video. I think y'all know the video I'm talking about. Hopefully you do. And the only thing after rewatching it this morning that he said wrong, because remember, science is never settled. There's no such thing as settled science. It's never, ever, ever settled. It changes with new information, new technology, new sciences, and new understandings, new data. Which is the problem with videos. You make a video, is why I say I'm wrong all the time. We're always going to be wrong in the future, is that things change. The only thing that I ran into, because I listened to a lot of university virologists, I've come to realize that if you're working in the field, then you have to say what the field requires, right? You have to say what gives you a paycheck. You have to engage in this war on viruses, right? Because that's what pays. That's what gets you the grants. But I found that university, the professors, they can speak a little more truth. Not that people in the field don't, but they just can speak a little more because they don't need the grants. And listening to them, I ran into that lecture talk that we listened to from the convention last week, where it said that pathogens can hide in exosomes, right? And to me, that was deep. Right, and it was just a clarification that, he said you can't catch a virus. You can't catch a virus by the definition of the word virus, but a pathogen can hide in exosome, and we shed exosomes. And so from a clarification perspective, right, it's to say that when people walk around you and they're coughing, yes, they can pass pathogens onto you through exosomes, because some pathogens can hide within them. So from that understanding, but they're not alive, they're not out to get you, they're a part of nature, and they're a part of a cleansing process that people are struggling, we're all struggling to understand, but it's not something we should fight. You shouldn't fight anything until you understand it. If we know that 60,000 or 30,000, somebody posted 60, people die every year of the flu, then we need to spend more time focusing on how to help those people have healthy immune systems so they don't die of this natural process, not help an industry that's trying to make profit out of them dying because it makes everybody else scared. Okay. That's what I'm thinking. New vibration, Juan. We need to vibrate in a new way. Viruses are contagious. Yes, and we know that, Lori. We know that. I questioned it though. When I watched that video, I questioned. I was like, he's making some very good, valid points, but they absolutely are. And we know they are from OSHA, right? Level 3, positive pressure, the suit that grandmama need that they won't ever send to grandmama, right? They're not mad. They don't need she need. If one of your things escaped from a bioweapons lab, that's what grandmama should need right there. Yemen don't need no more tanks to blow up their land and rob from them. Who else we say? Israel don't need billions of more dollars to go after the Palestinians. The Russians don't need no money. Who else are we sending money to? Don't nobody need them billions of dollars, but grandmama need a positive pressure suit because she convinced half of my friends that they're out there for grandmama. So, point being that all those studies came together and the OSHA consultants told OSHA that, hey, you can't have people working with coronaviruses in masks because they all got infected. So we know it's contagious. So, but it doesn't mean all pathogens hide in exosomes. I understand there's some. So it absolutely is contagious, right? But when there's, let me tell you I gotta remember what I said yesterday. I was in a conversation about this. I talk about this stuff all the time. They're disingenuous. They're disingenuous because they don't actually give a damn. They actually don't give a damn, and they don't give a damn, because if something was released that was really killing people, that really had them this scared, that made them want to have daily press conferences and put together war rooms and war teams to help people who are dying, if they were really as scared as the lady I saw yesterday rubbing down her steering wheel, if your government were really that scared, if your politicians really gave a damn that much, they wouldn't have tried to put the digital dollar in the stimulus package. They wouldn't have given you a tax credit. They'd have gave you the trillions of dollars they gave their criminal friends on Wall Street. If they were really scared, they'd have gave positive pressure suits to everybody. If they were really scared, if they were really worried about this, they'd be bringing the troops home. If they were globally, it's not just America. I mean, globally, think about it. If globally all the world's governments were really scared, if something was released that threatens the species, right? Threatens the human race, and they're on our side. They got our back. And if they were really scared, would they allow corporations to work on something in private using a couple thousand or a couple hundred scientists as opposed to open sourcing it and getting 30 million scientists from all over the world to try to figure out how to save the human race? Think about that for a minute. If they were really scared, if you were in government, what would you do? If you were really scared that this thing might wipe out the human race, would you allow 3 or 4 of your favorite corporations that you give $40 billion to make profit and only utilize a couple hundred scientists in your few little dinky labs to make something that's needed to save the human race? It's Just think about it. Just think about it. I was talking to someone yesterday about that. I just said, yeah, these people are disingenuous in every single way. You know, you don't have to go with my friends here and go out to the New World Order websites and Event 2030 and all of that stuff. All you got to use is a little common sense. A little common sense, right? All wars would stop if they thought this could turn into the Black Plague, if they thought this could turn into the Kansas flu, which they called the Spanish flu. If they really were scared, as scared as they got you being, as if they were really scared to shut down and get millions of people killed in a shutdown, Shurtdownicides, they would have open sourced it. It wouldn't be secret. And they damn sure wouldn't have hundreds of patents on it, or dozens, however many they are. They would open source it, wouldn't they? You know what, even if they weren't scared, just common sense. If they were concerned, if they were just slightly concerned that a couple million people might die, and they paid for the vaccines, 40 billion, 45 billion, however much it is in my country, they would say, no, we paid for that. You're going to open source it. You're going to work with this company, with that company. That company's going to be open source. We're going to do real science. It's not going to be quiet and dark in the dark so you can make your money and slide me a check and slide me a lobbyist check on the side. It would be open source. Common sense handles most things, you know, but sense isn't common anymore. Speaking about common, the common cold. I wonder about the common cold. I was watching the video Cat tagged me in. How common is the cold, right? How common is the modern cold? How common has it always been, right? Is this something that is only existing in modern times? Did we actually evolve on this planet with something called the common cold? Running from all kind of creatures and hiding and with sniffles and the flu and all of this stuff that people get all the time. I wonder about the common cold, because this is where, that particular video where they get into, where they wonder if, I guess I'm talking about it, and you probably have no idea if you haven't seen the video. The common cold is a result of technology. Ooh, I do kind of want to show you one of my favorite, I haven't watched this one, but this is one of my favorite virologists. I'll put him on blast for a second. Who is this? Vincent Racinello. He's talking about are viruses alive? Let's look at this real quick. This is a guy who usually I go to, and this one thing I learned from him is you don't ever trust television, you don't ever trust pundits and politicians when it comes to understanding science, right? They don't speak science, they speak politics, and politics speaks only for-profit products. Once you take it out of a lab and you put it on the shelf, it's no longer science, it's just a product. It no longer needs truth and lab coats and beakers, it only needs salesmen. This is Vincent Racinello. This man is off the hook.
Hello everyone, I'm Vincent Racinello and this is Virus Watch, the weekly video report on what's happening in the amazing world of viruses. Today, we're going to tackle the thorny question that always generates a lot of discussion. Are viruses alive? First, we have to define life. It's not very easy to do, and many people disagree on the exact definition on what is living. But we have to have a definition, otherwise we can't answer the question of whether viruses are alive or not. So here we go. Something that's living should have most of these following properties. It should be composed of one or more cells. It should have homeostasis. This is the ability to regulate important properties such as pH or temperature. It should have the ability to make or generate energy, to grow, and to adapt to new environments by evolution. Also to respond to stimuli, like a plant moving towards light. And, of course, it must be able to make more of itself to reproduce. Here's a model of a simple virus. It happens to be poliovirus. The virus particle consists of a protein shell, which you can see is this plastic shell that protects the RNA genome that's inside of it. On its own, this virus particle doesn't meet any of the requirements for being alive. It's not a cell, it doesn't have homeostasis, it can't make energy, can't adapt to new environments, it can't evolve, and it can't reproduce. This particle here can't do any of these things. But wait, viruses do evolve, right? And they do replicate, of course. So what's going on? The key is that all the things carried out by viruses happen only after the virus enters a cell. That's why we call viruses obligate intracellular parasites. In order to make more viruses, they need to physically get inside of a cell. The virus genetic information, whether it's RNA or DNA, enters the cell and it reprograms the cell so that all of the cell processes are now directed to the making of new viruses. That fact lets us answer the question of whether viruses are alive. But first, we have to define what we mean by virus. I define a virus as an organism with two phases. One phase is the virus particle, whether it's a simple virus like the one I'm holding, or much bigger virus particles with huge genomes and complicated structures like the giant Mimi viruses and Pandora viruses. Whether it's any of those, that virus particle can't do anything. It can't reproduce, it can't evolve without getting inside of a cell. So that's why I think the virus particle is clearly not alive.
So to me, why is it relevant? Well, fear. It's easy to be scared of something that's out to get you, right? But what if it's not out to get you? What if it's not alive? Is something that's not alive a part of something else, or is it just something in the environment? So if a virus is not alive, I think both want to ask the question. To me, why is it important? Well, if the virus isn't alive, it means that it's something in the environment that cells use. So if a virus is something in the environment, or whatever you want to call them, not exosomes or pathogens, but if it's something in the environment that's not alive, like a rock, and your body decides to use it, what does that mean? It means your body needs it for whatever reason. Another example would be cannabinoids. Cannabinoids are in the environment. We've been eating them since the beginning of time, which is why they banned it everywhere possible. And your body started using it. And in fact, it made a whole endocannabinoid system. The cannabinoids aren't alive, right? Your body utilizes it. Now it's a part of us. We evolved to need this thing. And so to me, that's why it's such a powerful thing, a question of whether or not the virus is alive. Because the virus, it's a thing, right? RNA or DNA surrounded by the coating with receptors. And your body's decided, because your body could just get rid of it. Your body could just say, no, I don't have nothing to do with this, and just eradicate. You got cytotoxic T cells, if that's the right cell, the white blood cell, just to destroy it. But your body's actually trying to utilize it. And so people can debate as to why, but it's an inert thing. You know, you eat a rock, what happens? Like my man right here, hang on. I'll post a link for Vincent's channel. He's a university professor, I love him. I don't always agree with him. You know, he is definitely a very big pro-vax guy on the job, but we don't know what that really means, right? That might mean that his job requires him to say that. I don't know. Like this man right here, he eats the fish. I got that fish popped right in his mouth. And I love this little kid. And he gets some sand in his mouth, right? Like, is his body gonna pass the sand? Or is his body gonna utilize the sand to replicate or cleanse cells or whatever sand does? Like there's something to viruses. That might not even be the best example. But the point is your body passes on things that it wants nothing to do with. It doesn't do that with viruses. So I think that's important. It's like putting JavaScript code in your C++ program and wondering why the compiler is getting kicked out with an error. Ooh, bofine. Don't send me down that avenue. Don't do that. Don't do that. I know that'll get me in trouble. It's just information. It's just coding. It's just programming. And if you go take C++ coding and you inject it in your body with mosquitoes or another pointy object, you can cause a lot of damage and problems. So we won't go there just yet. Let's let him finish up real quick.
However, once the virus is inside of a cell, the virus-infected cell is certainly alive. It's simply a cell, which we all agree is living, that's been taken over by a virus. The living cell has been reprogrammed to make more virus particles. In many cases, the virus-infected cell will eventually be killed by infection, but until that happens, it's very much alive, producing new virus particles. A virus, then, is an organism with two phases: the virus particle, which is not alive, and the infected cell, which is clearly alive. When most people say virus, they usually mean the virus particle, but there's a difference between virus particle and virus-infected cell. The virus particle isn't alive, but the infected cell is. I think this is a good solution to the problem that a virus particle can't possibly be alive, but has the potential to be living once it enters the cell. A virus, the organism with two phases, is clearly alive. That's Virus Watch for June 13th, 2016. For more in-depth discussions about viruses, check out our science show this week in Virology at microbe.tv/twiv. I'm Vincent Racaniello, and I'll see you next week.
What's up, guys? It's Rob Rast here, and I've got my new bag of fresh, clean tees here. I'm super excited about this. As you see, my clothes, no logos, anything like that, super simple. These guys have got it going on, so let's see what we got in this bag right here. Got my first order of fresh, clean tees. I ordered large. I thought I was bigger than I am. And it wasn't a great fit, so I just sent it back in, changed it for the medium, and check out the fit on these. Just perfect, fits like a glove. So, by the way, I'm 5'9", 160. If you're about my size, medium. Bigger than that, maybe a large is better for you. I gotta say, I'm loving this color right now. This is really suiting my mood. This is a medium, like I said, it's the red V-neck. I really love that. And what I love the most about fresh, clean tees is there's no logos, and it's super, super affordable. So I don't want to go to a store and spend 50, 60 bucks on a t-shirt with a big logo promoting somebody else's brand. I want to get my identity from within, from what I do, and share that with the world. That's what I want people to focus on. Go get those fresh, clean tees, and we'll see you on the other side.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. I wanted to actually show you something else from Vincent, but we'll see where this goes. No, don't do that. Don't do that. There, like that. We gotta get a new laptop at some point. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, PBS isn't exactly any different than MSN. Well, they're all the same. They're all the same, Jeannie, right? Because they all sell advertisements. If you sell the advertisements like any media, it's not about news, right? It's movies, Hollywood, any television programming. They are a for-profit business, right? They make money selling advertisement to advertisers. So the advertisers have say in the program. So PBS is never going to show anything that significantly offends their advertisers, right? For-profit is the issue, which is my main issue with for-profit health companies. They're not interested in health, they're interested in profit. So if you have global for-profit vaccination companies who, in CDC, they make money on patents, they make money on the sale of these things, then obviously they're not interested in your health, they're interested in making profit, and their product is vaccines, and they're gonna sell it. So this applies everywhere. This is part of why I say money has to go away. We got to get rid of money. I haven't met one person that made a good case yet for why we should keep slavery. I don't know anyone. Let me see. New vibration, viruses and contagious. No one pays for me speaking the truth. And that's why you speak the truth, Lori. The minute someone pays for you speaking the truth, you won't speak the truth, right? And then if you attach your life to it, you will speak whatever they tell you. That's the danger of money, which is a good thing about the, what is it called in church? The love offerings, where you just give people money. You just give them, you give the pastor an offering because you appreciate what they're doing, not necessarily what they're saying, and you don't try to control their speech. And I think that's the only way you have very honest, maybe that's the only way we can have an honest world, is you can't have, let me think about that. Can you ever have an honest world where money exists and everybody needs money? I mean, think about it from a principle level. If everybody needs this thing and a few people have the most of that thing, will you ever have an honest world where everybody wants that thing? And I don't think you can. I don't think you can. It's like, once again, communism, capitalism, socialism, everybody go back and forth and fight over it. In my country, disaster capitalism, you actually have one political party that's trying to create socialism here. And they like us to pretend that we don't know that they're actually destroying the economy and killing millions of people so they can make an excuse for socialism. I'm not that one. You can play with other people. I know what they're up to. It's being utilized for other things too, but it's not going to matter. That's not a paradigm shift. I have friends who still believe that socialism is a paradigm shift, and it's not. Socialism is the same thing. You still have the same people with the most jewels making the decisions. It's the same thing. I don't think in a world money exists, honesty is valued. The only thing that's valued is what everybody needs, which is the money. Money has to go away to make an honest society, and we don't even need it anymore. We don't even, exactly. Oh, Lori, go on with that. She said, follow the money. So from that perspective, if we know you can always find a problem on this planet by following the money, or 99.99% of the time, that indicates that all the problems on the planet are because of money. Go on with your bad self. Yes, that actually makes sense to me. Just more confirmation of where we gotta go. It doesn't feel good. Like Sister Rose says, like the truth isn't supposed to be kind, it's supposed to be true. It doesn't feel good. It's not supposed to feel good, It's just supposed to be what we're supposed to do. We need to seek what doesn't feel good and seek what's correct to do, so we can correct this planet and get this boat back on the right course. We don't need money. We have the automation. I say it 8 times a day. And don't want to waste your time. If you're new, somebody else say it for you. We have the automation. We actually don't need money. We can produce anything that you need. I was not allowed if it were, I would not allow it if there were a doubt. If this battle over the virus and vaccine was in a court, it would never have won with a jury trial. Well, they don't like to hear things, Jeannie, in court that could affect their profit. The problem with courts are there's discovery, there's investigations, and there's certain things that you'll just never get in court. Like, who was it? Was it Pfizer that had the breakthroughs in Alzheimer's that they somehow got the judge to seal the court hearing so nobody would know for 10 years that they almost had something that probably could have resolved Alzheimer's by now? Which is what I think scientists now who are looking at the data are now saying, that if we knew 10 years ago that Alzheimer's wouldn't be a problem today. I don't know how true all of that is, but the problem with courts are they're supposed to find the facts. And in a time like this, the facts aren't popular. The facts aren't profitable. So absolutely. I mean, if this were on trial, if the shutdown-demic were on trial, the court trial would last like 2 minutes. It would last 2 minutes. I mean, all you got to do is look at the evidence. The White House mic, the White House hot mic, Jeannie, the White House hot mic. Y'all remember that? The White House hot mic? When the mic was on, and this was, make me go back to it. I actually uploaded it yesterday, come to think of it. I wanted to show you Vincent's channel, but we'll do that later. Hot mic, where they said, oh yeah, well, because remember the first California, and you're in California, when the first California research came back, and they said, oh yeah, we done the numbers, and it looks like this thing is like a 0.01% survival rate or 0.01% kill rate, so which means that it's basically the flu. It's the flu. Okay, it's the flu. Okay, so the whole thing was a hoax. No, I don't think it was a hoax, but you don't have to wear your mask anymore. Remember that? Wasn't that fun? I got it right here. It's fun because now the facts are confirming that, which is funny, right? Because somehow we went from here it is right here. We went from that to the facts showing from the test, there ain't no test, but the test that they want to use, their own test, convicts them of this being no more deadly than a common flu. This was it right here, and they tried to explain it in multiple different ways, but here we are. This is like, what, 4 months later? Something like that, 3 months later? And now all the numbers have come in, and every day as cases go up, the survival rate goes up too, and deaths aren't going up or very slowly going up, which means we are beyond it being dangerous than the flu. So back to my point of what's happening right now is a cover-up, right? It's a cover-up. You killed millions of people, you destroyed the livelihood of probably 1 billion or more people, and you don't want to admit your mistake. And so you keep ramping it up. We might have to do wave 2, we might have to do this, we might have to shut down again, y'all need to wear a mask, blah, blah, blah. And you create this psychological thing. You turn the maskers against the unmaskers, you make it political, turn the left against the right against the left, because you don't want to admit that what they said was true. That you intended or not, everybody makes mistakes. This is why they don't let honest people in government, because an honest person say, you know what, I screwed up. You know what, I wasn't even thinking. I was listening to the WHO and the CDC, and and they got me scared. I didn't know what to do. I was afraid, didn't want to lose my job, so I shut everything down, or I agreed with everybody else. We shut down, and it looks like we got millions of people killed. I'm sorry. I was scared. Maybe I'm not fit for this job. Maybe I understand that in this job you got to make tough decisions. And I'm supposed to be working for the people, but I actually was scared by a for-profit vaccination company that has patents on the coronavirus. It's right here.
Okay. All right, man.
What do you know, baby?
You can take out the mask, Doug. The case fatality rate's at 0.1 to 0.3.
You can take off the mask now. The fatality rates are at point blah, 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 blah.
Is it really? That's reassuring.
USC.
Everybody here's been vaccinated anyway.
That's reassuring. Everybody here has been vaccinated anyway before they began to scare everybody into where we are today.
USC and LA County Public Health came out with a study. They found that there's 7,000 cases in California, but they really believe that there are anywhere from 221,000 to 442,000 people who were infected.
Really?
Yeah.
So that makes it 0.1 to 0.3? Is a study to give out later?
Yeah, just give it to them. So it suggests the case fatality rate is going to 10. It seems to be.
Wow.
Puts you right in line with the flu.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it is.
So it was a hoax.
I don't think it was a hoax.
No, it wasn't a hoax. It might have been, might not have been. I mean, my personal opinion, yeah, it's a hoax. It's a hoax. People die in hoaxes all the time. It's a hoax. And maybe your government didn't know it was a hoax. Maybe we'll not government, we'll say maybe the politicians didn't realize that they were being tricked. They were tricked. Now, corporations made billions of dollars. Walmart, Target, Home Depot, big pharmaceutical industry, mask makers, the banks, everybody made billions. And they just don't want to tell you. They just don't want to say it. That's why I'm like him. That's why I'm like the brother right there, the fish in his mouth. I don't like to go along because I know that the crowd is always, the buffalo is always being headed for a cliff. I like to swim the other direction. Other direction. All right, I'm going to do some comments and we'll see where it goes. Good, I didn't see anyone saying, we didn't hear the Obama speech. I was going to laugh at it the whole time anyway, because y'all know me anyway. All I would do is probably pause it every 30 seconds, be like, hypocrite, shut up. Hypocrite, stop it. Hypocrite, stop it. You did this too. No, nope, stop that. You didn't. Nope, you did this. Don't blame Trump. You did this. Nope, nope, you did it too. Yep, okay, you did it too. And it's not a defense of Trump. It's just saying, being honest. It's not a defense of Trump. It's just being honest. If you're not honest about the real problems with your country and your world, you are the greatest danger to the next generation. Right? The only people who are defending their own children, their grandkids, their nieces, their nephews are people who are being honest about the real problems in our system. Politicians are viruses. They are really dangerous. They are, Christine, but they're what's significantly more dangerous than the politicians. They're just doing a job. It's the people who know better who shouldn't be supporting them when they say things that are wrong, when they do things that are wrong, because they want to be on a team, right? They want to confirm their bias. They want to be a part of a system that shouldn't even exist anymore. A small part to argue that changes nothing. Yeah, they like to argue the little stuff, Lori. Absolutely. That's why all of my students, that's why all of a sudden, the toilet and flushing came into the talk. What? Oh no, stop it, Marianne. What's wrong with y'all? I'm at slavery. No, I'm at slavery. No, because what I do is I'm not going to go through the details. But no, it was not that. No. But then who started that? Yeah, I'm in the cotton. Thank you, Hillary. Hillary, please explain to these people. I'm in the cotton field. Y'all should know me by now. People who've been here long enough, you should be able to see through the cracks. I ain't got to tell you. I tell you every damn thing that I do all the damn time. You should know things. All right, you should know things just by watching me. Read between the cracks. Things I'm not saying, I'm not going to say. I actually lied about, wait a minute, I actually like the t-shirt concept. Oh, did you, Melissa? I didn't see it because I put my earphone in and I listened with y'all when I disappeared, but I didn't hear that part. If I want real unpaid for unbiased science, I can find it in my backyard, blowing things up and growing my fungi. All right, Jeannie, well, that's what we should do. It's what makes us strong. Good morning, Brother Matthew. Who is not a scientist? Maria, Marianne, I think everybody's a scientist. Just some of us have degrees, some of us don't. Some of us only focus on one science and not the other science. Some of us focus on one religion, not the other religion. Some of us like our science on one political party, not the other one. Science in the scientific method is a way of life. Everybody's a scientist. Just some people suck at it and some people willfully suck at it because they study chemistry. I tell you what, Marianne, I was so blessed yesterday. I met 3 college students, biologists, studying biology. And they get it. They get it. Marianne, I was talking to them about like the medical system and how it's based in chemical treatments and blah, 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 blah. And we only really know that because the doctors came forward and agreed with the holistic doctors that we just do one thing. We're trying to make a synthetic, profitable product, right, what the pharmaceutical industry is. And the AMA gives them the standard care and practice where they have no option but to give you a synthetic chemical compound that flips your DNA through epigenetics and gives you all kinds of side effects. And these kids understood it. These kids, they were biologists, like, yep, we know. We know that too. Yep, we got that too. And they also was doing psychedelics, which might even be why. We got some psychedelic theory. What are psychedelics? Why do plants make them? Communicating with the other side, what you see when you take them. It was deep, but they were like, yeah, science is not just chemistry. Science is chemistry, it's biology, it's physiology, it's quantum physics, it's spirituality, it's placebo, nocebo. There's so many different things that come together, and Rockefeller just created an industry just for profit. He wanted to sell medicines based in oil. So he decided everything has to be this. That's why there's hope for the future. There's a lot of bright kids coming down that pathway, a lot of kids that unfortunately we're starved into conflict, so they're in the streets fighting with other people as opposed to being in university. Not that that's a great thing or a bad thing, it's a different thing, But I'm not a protester. Not a protester. And who was that? Paul who asked me the other day, or Jason? I forgot who said, "Hey, that's why we're gonna get together at your house. Go, who's protesting?" I'm not a protester. I'm not a beggar, and I'm not a protester. I'm not. Because to me, I think they're the same thing. I used to organize protests. I used to get out there, yell, scream, blah, 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 blah. We took over a bridge in Philly before. We did a whole bunch of things. We protested in D.C. We were in the national news. We had a brother who climbed to the top of the Lincoln Memorial. You look it up, you know exactly what group I'm with. He is actually from the UK. He and the other brother, I think he's from Ohio. But anyway, that's another story. I'm not into begging anymore. I did that because they wanted me to do that. And now, if I got an issue with Caesar, and I said, "I'm gonna protest you, Caesar," and Caesar says, "Go on, get out there and protest then." Get it, man. Go out there and protest me. Get out there in that street. Shoot, I give you some money too. And you do it, just make sure you wear your mask. Get out there and protest me. I'm gonna have an issue with that. I'm gonna pause. I don't know if I was talking to Paul or Jason at the time, but I'm saying, well, wait a minute. If Caesar is okay with me protesting, and Caesar's saying I got a right to protest, and Caesar wants me to protest, that's called a trap, man. That's called a trap. I don't walk into traps. I'm not interested. I'm definitely not going to walk a whole bunch of people into traps. There is nothing that I want that will come from begging my government. Nothing. There is nothing I feel that will solve the problems of violence and conflict and artificial scarcity and poverty and the reason why kids join the Ku Klux Klan and the white nationalists and Antifa and Black Lives Matter and the Bloods and the Crips. There is nothing that they will give me by begging them that will resolve any of that. Yeah. And that's my primary focus is kids. I back all of them no matter what they do. I always stand by kids. After you're 26, then, you know, you are what you are. But if you don't have that frontal lobe developed, then it's my job to speak up for you. And I think it's the job of every adult to speak up for the youth. You know, so I don't pick teams when it comes to that. Same reason them kids join one group is the same reason they join the other group. Same damn reason, because we stupid as adults. All right. Yeah, I'm not into begging. I'm not into begging. The things that we need to take. Now, actions are different. Actions that get on the news, sustained long-term actions like RIC, that's a different thing. To me, when I say protest, I'm talking about get out in the street, get some signs, some Sharpies, got to yell, scream, cars hit the horns, and everybody go home. Nobody gives a damn. But if you get out there like the RIC, the Yellow Vest, and you get out there every single Saturday, and you're not fighting for anything other than you to go away and you to give all your power to me with direct democracy, RIC, that might be a little different. I didn't see in France, I didn't see anybody begging their government. I saw them demanding that their government give them the right to run their own damn country, which is a little different. But France is different. France is different. And I'm just walking through this, y'all. I have not fucked this out. This is all a discussion. France is a little different. I think their problems are a little different from ours. A lot of them are similar at the root level. But here in America, nobody cares. Nobody cares that you protest, and the politicians don't care. They want you to protest. In France, they were sending the police out there. They were trying to cause riots and stuff. Nobody, I do not see anyone in France saying, yeah, get on out there. It's okay if you got black skin, you can protest. The virus don't like black skin. I don't see that in France. I see that here, so I think there's a different kung fu we did. Anyway, every society has socialist aspects like the old people's, it went up. I think it was Jason. Yeah, I just don't like socialism. I don't like socialism. I don't like capitalism, and I don't like communism. I don't like any of them because I'm an engineer. I know that none of them need to exist. They're all based in getting people to labor for what's abundant with automation. So I don't see a purpose. Like, I don't like slavery. Who was that, Jason? I think that was Jason. No, Paul. I don't like slavery. I don't like any flavor. Money is a representation of human labor. That's a type of slavery. It's a pool of slavery. I don't like that. And I don't like any of those three forms of government, mainly because the billionaires love them and the trillionaires, those are the ones that everybody talks about. You know, you look at the Zeitgeist movement, and it's supposedly it's the biggest movement in the world, and you don't find it ever in the news. You know, you barely find it anywhere. Barely anybody even knows about it or talks about it. So I think there might be something there. You know, right? Like what they talk about is freedom, resource-based economy, where we produce what we need for people and people just go live their lives. I like that. I like the sound of it. That is what I want for these kids in the street, and that's what I want for the kids in the white nationalists. That's what I want for them. I want them to not have a reason to be depressed and in conflict and not have any hope so much that they would embrace hate or destruction because me as an adult in their society wasn't doing my job. Freedom is what they need. They don't need another power system. They don't need another authoritarian model. They don't need another government to tell them what they can't do, or can't do. They need to be adults after they turn 26. It's their own damn mind. If you want to wear blue diapers, red diapers, diapers on your butt, diapers on your face, that's up to you. Hey, that's not a government solution. Oh, well, what? Here's your medicine. Take your medicine. What am I, 5? You're going to tell me what kind of medicine I need to take and from what companies and when, or I can't get a driver's license, drive a car, or you're going to send police to the door and inject that in my, no, I'm not doing slavery no more, Brother Paul. I'm not going to do it. Not interested. There's nothing that they have that I'm a beg for. They can kill me. I'm like I said, I am fine with that. You don't have no idea how I do not care about that because you can't kill me anyway. You can take this body, but you're not going to take the spirit. The spirit going to come back in the body. It's going to haunt you again. There's nothing they can do to me. There's nothing they can do to me. This is why I speak my mind and I'm not fearful. Like, oh man, the stuff that you say. What? What? You know, you think this is the first time you did this? Does anybody here actually think this is the first time that they've done this? Right? We failed the first time around. Okay? That's why we're back here doing this again in this life, human, earth thing. I don't want to do this again. Y'all want to do this again? I'm tired of this. I want to move on to something else. All right. Oh yes, one good one. All right. Let me see. Don't confuse socialism with collectivism, which is the same as fascism. Well, to me, Paul, they're all the isms. They're all slavery. I don't believe in forced labor. I don't think anybody, Paul, should be telling you what to do. Well, you do your part. That's not your business. Maybe Paul doesn't want to do his part right now. Maybe Paul wants to smoke weed and go fishing for 5 years. I don't have an issue with that. The robots are growing your food. The robots are building your house. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I want Paul to go be happy. I don't think socialism king, communism king, or capitalism with multiple kings and people who just doing well in the monopoly game have the right to tell you that you have to labor for them. To exist on earth that you have to labor. And that's my main problem. Socialism as a concept, there are things in it that make sense. There are things in communism that make sense. There are things in capitalism that make sense. And to me, it's all academic and it's interesting. In a world you don't have learning software. It's all interesting in a world where you don't have robots that can free the human race from useless labor that they suck at anyway. That's my point. I like root cause solutions. It's like this. If you're in a hurry and you're late to work, I think it's Brother Paul mostly hitting that socialism. And you hit them steps. You see them steps? Let's say you're 25. How old are you, Paul? 25. See them steps? Do you now at my age of 29, I take every step. All right. Sometimes I might do 2 steps. But you're late for slavery, you gotta get in there and get that cotton, get that to picking or whatever. And you see them steps, you haven't like jump up 2 or 3 steps because you could, and you just kept going up because you go up the steps faster. If we know we can jump up some steps, why don't we just do that? Right? Is socialism better than capitalism in some way? Yes, and capitalism better than socialism in some way. But if we can just jump this step for the next generation, maybe we should just jump the step. That's my point. Why not just jump the step? Just Google it. Capitalism will die on our watch. It should, Paul, but so should socialism, so should communism, so should all the isms. The only thing that should live on our watch, Paul, is human freedom for these children. No more making a child a slave to an authority at birth. We shouldn't do that no more. Birth certificate for a start. Yeah, Cat Stevens, we need to take those back. And no longer be commodities traded on international markets by billionaires, right? And the people who set up those systems are the ones who cheer all the isms. No one works for the people, never have. And I agree with Beaufont, and the government's not supposed to. I like Beaufont, what you say in terms of government, like as a model. It claims the authority, right? So it can give you a Bill of Rights. It can give you a constitution. It can give you all those things, but it still claims the authority. You know, and this is where Beaufort, like I said, he's always solid on. He gets a little flaky when it comes to the anus cakes. I don't know why anybody makes cupcakes shaped like nobody anus. But when he's talking about government, he's nailing it. They're the authority over you. You know, because what I'll do is I'll post on like the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, stuff like that. Because I think the founding fathers were ahead of their game, right? They jumped a few steps. They were like heading in the right direction. They kind of got the whole woman thing screwed up. They got the black people's thing screwed. They got the Native American thing. And they got the poor white that didn't own any land thing screwed up. But as far as a jump and a paradigm shift, they actually did that. You know, but we have to accept the truth when it's presented to us. And Beaufort presents that truth. It is a government. They claim the authority. They can give you a Bill of Rights, but when they tell you to put a face diaper on, when they throw you in prison, you're going to put a face diaper on. To me, that's not freedom. That's not democracy. It's not liberty. It's not sea to sea, the shining sea, this our sea. It's a land that they own. And they own everything in it. And they can take any right they want at any time they want. That's why the authority has to be the people. In capitalism, communism, nor socialism, which communism, socialism, different versions of the same thing, the people are not the sovereigns. The government is. And that's where we always get it wrong. I'm not interested in any flavor of slavery. All right, that's my point. And I think there are great ways to get there without this particular shutdown thing that we're in. Like you have the constitutional conventions, you have democracy. Like there are a lot of different paths that you can go to get there. You know, or we just say, no, that's it. We all just walk away. Say, no, we're walking away and we're not coming back until you are a resource-based economy. You're a facilitator. So I think there are a lot of ways to get there. Kill Bill of Gates and hell tricked everybody to make money. That's it, Tom. Ooh, Tom, and he had a good video. Did you see Tom good Lord. It was an interview. It was in Scamdemic Part 2, which is probably why maybe I shouldn't even show it. But they asked Bill Gates that question. They asked him, they said, well, hey, we gave you $40 billion to make a cure that we paid for. Can you make it with not making any profit? Can you sell it back to the people it cost? And he said no. And there was other stuff. But you know what, if I can find a news clip, someone can post a link. The deep state controls the president, it's tradition. The deep state, Paul, controls all of it. They control all of this. They control me right now, and they control this broadcast. They can shut it off at any time they want to, which is why they can kill anybody they want to. They can throw anybody in prison they want to. They can do anything they want to at any time. They can delete a bank account. They can make you a criminal. They can put child porn on your laptop. They can do anything they want to at any time. That's why there can't be any leaders in any of this. This is why I don't ask anybody to follow me. I ask you to be an adult. You being an adult means that you don't have a master. You're not following anyone. You are making your own mind, your own decisions. Because the minute you have a leader, whatever you call the deep state, I think there are a lot of things you can call deep state. They'll control you and they'll make you do what they want you to do, which means that now they got all the energy of all the people who follow you. Energy is huge. Energy is huge. Don't ever blindly follow anything or anybody, or you will expose them to becoming dirty. And they'll capitulate. They'll capitulate. Everybody's got something that they can get to. Gerard, have you ever done topsoil cultivation? What? Is that a Beaufort question about gardening? I thought you just did hummingbirds, brother. What was that question? It moved up. I couldn't see it. All right. He's a twin. I went to Walmart yesterday and blasted indoctrination the whole time. Oh, did you, Kentucky Fried Mama? You didn't go to prison? Nope. The love of money is the root of all evil. Yes, it is. Truer now than ever. And you can see it everywhere, Kentucky Fried Mama. And they took money, and money buys everything that everybody loves. So money is absolutely the love of all evil, but then it's also the addiction to money. And they made everybody addicted to money. And we look at the crack people like, you're a crackhead, you're a meth head. And everybody's addicted to money. Everybody addicted to drugs, going to Walgreens every damn day, every 2 or 3 days, looking at people in the street like, you druggie, get a job. It's like, you're a druggie too. Just because you're a functional druggie doesn't mean you're not a druggie. Just because you're a functional money addict doesn't mean that you're not an addict. Money is a huge issue. It needs to go away. There's no reason for it to exist anymore other than the fact that we're trying to keep slavery, and slavery needs to go away. We need to finally emancipate the people, which means money has to go away. We just have to love each other and accept the fact that people who are born on this planet are not slaves to a 0.01% anymore. As long as money exists, they will be. And that's a foul thing to do to a baby. We have the automation, but I think a hands-on relationship with the earth is healthy. Oh, absolutely. Well, Kentucky Fried Mile, I told this to Claudia. Because Claudia is not into the machine grown stuff either. And I like it from an academic perspective. It's good because there are a lot of people who aren't into that. But when it comes to reality, we have a lot of people to feed, and there's only one way to do it. We need to grow in very diverse, soil-rich, micro-rich soils, that only robots can do. Here's something I wanted to show you about Brother Vincent's channel real quick.
In one more time.
And the only way you're going to do that is through learning software. The healthiest food that will be grown will be rare and scarce and in jungles and forests and just be cultivated, multi-generational, open air pollination, reseeding itself, and there won't be enough food to go around. When you do that with an automated learning robot, you can do that in a way where there's enough food for the bears, there's enough food for the deer, there's enough food for the humans, the soil is tested, it's microbiology rich, you got compost teas going out to make sure you got the right fungal relationships with the microbes and fungi. It would be the healthiest food that's ever existed on this planet. By helping nature do what it does best, to feed everybody. Right? It means, the conifers and a few of the plants will take an L. But it means the creatures that murder each other when they don't have enough don't have to do that because they got enough. But me personally, I'd be outgrown. I like to get my feet in the dirt, like to get my hands in the dirt. But let me show you this right here.
For 38 years working on viruses, and I think they are the coolest things on the planet, cooler than anything else that exists. And part of my goal is to convince you that they're really amazing. I absolutely love viruses. I have a passion for them that few people have, and I want to impart some of that to you. Now, as a professor at a medical school, I have 0 teaching obligations. I don't have to teach this course. I've been doing this for 10 years because I want you down here on this campus to know about viruses. When I started doing this 10 years ago, there was no virology course at Morningside, and I thought, you guys are paying 60 grand a year and you're not learning about viruses. This is completely unacceptable. So that's my motivation. And I guarantee you're gonna really like this course. You're gonna like what you learn. It's not easy, but in the end, you're gonna know more about viruses than most people on Earth. And this is a great time to be taking this course because, as you know, we have a brand new virus emerging from China and circulating around the globe. And everything you have heard about it on Twitter and Facebook and so forth is probably wrong. But here you're going to get the facts. By the end of this course, you're going to understand exactly what is going on. Here's what I feel. If you want to understand life, if you want to understand human health and human disease, you need to know about viruses. We live and prosper in a literal cloud of viruses. Viruses infect every living thing on the planet. Everything. Nothing escapes a virus infection. We regularly eat and breathe in billions of virus particles, probably on a daily basis. And viral genomes are part of our genome as well. They're truly pervasive. They're everywhere. And what is really remarkable is the extent of viruses on the planet. And here's one example. In the waters of the planet, just the oceans, salt water, there are over 10 to the 30th bacteriophages. These are viruses that infect bacteria. 10 to the 30th. That is too big for you to really comprehend. So here, let me put it two ways for you. First of all, in a teaspoon of seawater, there are a couple of million virus particles. So next time you go swimming in the ocean and you spit water at your friend, you're aerosolizing viruses. Completely harmless, but there are viruses in there. A bacteriophage particle weighs about a femtogram. So if we multiply that times 10 to the 30th, we get more biomass by 1,000-fold of all the elephants on Earth. So now you're starting to see how many particles there are. And then if we put them end to end, each of those 10 to the 30th particles, they reach 100 million light years into space. That's farther than the nearest galaxy, way beyond our solar system, of course. Incredibly long distance, and these are things you can't even see. That's the amazing part. There's so many of them, and this is just in the oceans. And in this course, we're going to talk a bit about the impact of those viruses on the oceans and on global biogeochemistry. They have enormous roles to play. So the numbers is part of the way viruses are successful. Whales, for example, are infected with members of a family of viruses called caliciviruses. These are related to the viruses that can give you gastroenteritis. We'll be talking about that later in the course. Gastroenteritis is vomiting and diarrhea. We've all had it. These are some viruses that commonly cause it. They can also infect whales. They can cause rashes and blisters and also gastroenteritis, not just in whales, but other marine mammals. Some of these whale viruses we think may infect humans, spill over from animals into humans. That's a word I will use a lot in this course. And these whales excrete 10 to the 13th virus particles a day in their feces. That's a lot of virus particles going into the ocean. There are lots of whales out there, and whales aren't the only ones infected. This is just another example of the viral numbers game, if you will. And that's a calicivirus particle in its glorious color. Of course, these viruses are not colored at all. We color them because it looks good and it's informative. But as you'll see later, we know lots of very detailed structures of virus particles that we can use to understand how they work. So a little bit more about the oceans. Here is a set of pie charts showing you the amount of viruses relative to protists and prokaryotes. So on the left we have by biomass, and you can see the yellow is the prokaryotes, the bacteria largely. They constitute most of the biomass in the ocean. There's lots of microbial activity in the ocean. In fact, it accounts for most of the oxygen that we're breathing, the photosynthetic bacteria in the oceans. And viruses in blue, just a very small part of the biomass. However, if we now look at particle number, that's on the right, or abundance, viruses constitute 94% of the particles in the ocean. If you just count a bacterium and a virus as one each, now viruses win the race. They are more abundant in particles than anything else. And these viruses are not just bad news. Someone famously said years ago, a virus is a bit of bad news wrapped in a protein. Well, I think that's completely wrong. Sometimes it can be. But as we'll see later, in the oceans, these viruses are responsible for recycling of a great deal of the organic matter to make it available. So they have great roles to play. And I just want to again point out, in a liter of coastal water, there's more virus particles than people on Earth. And as you'll see, they have the greatest genetic diversity on the planet. Nothing comes close to having the number of genes in toto that viruses have. Another sobering number, at this point in time, today, there are about 10 to the 16th genomes of HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, on the planet. It's also a huge number. And we know this because we know how many people are infected, about 37 million currently. We know how many genomes they typically have, so we can do the math very, very easily. But what does the number actually mean? It means that for all the drugs we have to treat HIV, we have over 40, and they're very effective. And now if you are infected with the virus, you can live a life without getting disease because of these drugs. Yet, within these 10 to the 16th genomes, there exists resistance to all of them already. because, as you'll see, mutations arise randomly. And so no matter how many drugs we make against this particular virus, there will always be resistance out there, and that's a problem, which we'll talk about when we talk about AIDS. How many of you right now have a virus infection? Raise your hand. I guess you don't want to identify, right? I understand that. But you all do. You're all infected. I don't mean to single anyone out. I am infected. In fact, we all have right now about a dozen different herpes viruses in us, including herpes simplex, 1 and 2 varicella zoster virus, chickenpox virus, although if you're vaccinated, you might have avoided that one, cytomegalovirus, Epstein-Barr virus, and then other herpes viruses 6, 7, and 8. Serological studies have shown in the US over 90% of the population has these viruses in them. Once you get them, you can't get rid of them. I like to say, unlike love, herpes is forever. It's true. And we will talk about why they stick with you and why you can't ever get rid of them. I have to say, I have an Instagram account where I put pictures of viruses and so forth, and I regularly get notices from people who say, my herpes was cured from Dr. So-and-so. Let me give you his or her number. It's wrong. You cannot cure herpes, and you'll learn why in the herpes lecture. So we each have at least a dozen herpes viruses, but we have many, many more as well. Let me tell you. You know that we have a microbiome, right? Every part of you has certain bacteria associated with it. Your skin, your eyes, your respiratory, gastrointestinal tract, everywhere. There's a different collection of bacteria that are good. They're beneficial. We're just starting to learn why. But there's also viruses in every part of your body. We have a virome. And on the left are pie charts showing RNA and DNA viruses in different organ systems, nervous system, respiratory, urogenital tract, etc. Even in health, we have viruses in all these places. All of us. If I did a survey of all of you, I would find viruses like this in all of you, yet you're fine. And that's the interesting part. We think these are beneficial. We have some evidence for this, which we'll touch on in this course. We are currently looking everywhere for viruses. And I want to play you this movie on the left there. We can now access anything on the planet to look for viruses. And there, I'm going to show you how to access the virome of whale breath. What they've done here is they've made a drone which is piloted by the people on the ship. And as it passes over the whales, a little dish opens up and it collects whale breath. I don't know if you could catch that. It's pretty quick. That little dish coming up is like a petri dish. It opens up, the whale breath goes in one more time. And they can collect it, they can bring it back to the lab, sequence it, and find out how many viruses are in whale breath. Isn't that something you wanted to know? You could use that at a party. You could say, do you know how many viruses there are in whale breath? There are a lot. So we can sample any part of the planet, and we are. We'd like to know what's there. Just a few weeks ago, I saw a paper where they went up to a glacier in the western part of China, and they dug very deep and pulled out ice cores, brought them back to the lab and thawed them, and they find viruses. And these ice cores are 15,000 years old. So we can really understand what's on the planet by doing this kind of sampling. It's quite remarkable. I mentioned at the beginning that we have viral genomes as part of our DNA. And that's illustrated here on this pie chart. As you know, our genome is 3.2 billion bases in length. It was sequenced many years ago, and many genomes are being sequenced right now because the cost has dropped substantially. The coding genes are very small, as you can see here, only 1.5%. And there are many other sequences that do other things, but I want to point you to this 8.3%, which is labeled LTR retrotransposons. We're going to talk about exactly what these are in a lecture later on. But essentially, a good fraction of these are remnants of retrovirus infections that happened long before we were Homo sapiens. They happened to our ancestors, and they were passed on down to us. And in fact, some of the genes from those retroviruses have been co-opted over evolution to now have uses in us. Some of these protein coding genes came from retrovirus infections. In fact, there are sequences of viruses littered throughout our genome that are not shown here. And we are wondering what effects they have. Are they useful? And if so, what are they doing? And people are starting to get interesting results about that. Now, over the years, as you will see, most work on viruses and most virus discovery is driven by disease. And that's illustrated in this graph, which shows the causes of 2017 global deaths. And you can see the biggest killer, cardiovascular diseases, almost 18 million deaths globally in 1 year.
I'm gonna stop right there, because this is what I learned from the Shurtdownicides. The shutdown-demic is how to apathy. How to not give two damns about people who actually have real diseases that they're dealing with, because I'm ignorant and scared. And we're going to start with these. These are all the people who did not go to the hospital. These are all the people who did not get help. These are all the people who had to just be put out on their own, put out to pasture and deal with their own problems, while we sat inside because we're scared to eat smoothies in the morning. Cardiovascular disease, number 1. Cancer, number 2. Respiratory diseases. All the other diseases made worse by mucus from viruses and particles in the air and things people spray out of chemtrails. And above that, of course, cancer, which is always fun because that goes back to glyphosate and pesticides and all the carcinogens that they put in the makeup and they put in all the food and water. This is why these people aren't here to help you. Cardiovascular disease at the top, where does that come from? Of course, that comes from the sugar. They subsidize that. The cancer, the carcinogens, they subsidize that. The things they spray out the back of them airplanes, they subsidize that. Lower respiratory infections, dementia they don't give two damns about. Remember, that ties in with Alzheimer's, which is diabetes type 3, if not mistaken. Plaque, where does that come from? I don't know. I assume that it was diabetes type 3. I thought the last thing I heard is that it indicated sugar as well, which is subsidized in everything, everywhere. And so everyone dies with Alzheimer's, but not everybody has dementia. Everyone dies with the plaque, but not everybody loses their memory. So that's another part of it. That can link to society, that can link to jobs. There's so many things you could link that to, because the difference between dying with Alzheimer's, diabetes type 3, which everybody has, but dementia, losing your memory, had to do with the memory passageways, right? If you have more access to the memory, then you don't have the memory loss because your body just reroutes. And most people don't have that. Most people live death. Most people are walking dead, right? Why? Because you're trapped in a career that has nothing to do with your passion. You're trapped making money. You're trapped doing things that billionaires say that you need to do as a right to live on their planet, breathing their oxygen until they want to get rid of you. So you're not passionate. You're not doing the studies. And that study goes back to the nurses. We talked about this. Not nurses, the nuns. The nun study, somewhere in Europe. Europe, a place where people speak funny. I love how they talk out there. No, so the study that showed that all the nuns who died, but they were following their passion. They were translating scriptures and stuff like that. But because they were constantly creating new connections, new dendrite connections between neurons, that they didn't end up with dementia. They died with all the plaque. They had diabetes type 3, which is Alzheimer's. The plaque on the dendrite connections are between the neurons. But they didn't show any signs of memory loss, right? They didn't show any signs of being lost in time and accessing memories because they stayed active, because they lived a life they were passionate about. They were doing studies they enjoyed. They were free human beings living free, all right? Oh, Lord have mercy. I just saw that. Yeah, I see it. I've been watching y'all. I know y'all getting back and forth. I see that, yeah. I'm not even gonna get into it because this is why I stay out of it. I stay out of it, people. I hadn't told y'all that. Listen, if you come at somebody gonna come at you too. Like I'm the nice guy. I'm the nice guy. I like that, let's hug and love and let's make some s'mores. Can we sing some songs? Other people, you come at them aggressively, they're gonna come back at you aggressively, and that's just how that goes. So I don't get in it. I just sit back and I watch it sometimes. Anyway, all right, yeah. So digestive diseases, neonatal diseases. We're still at causes of death in 2017 global deaths by, let me see, we're at 1.57. Diarrheal diseases, we're not there yet. Diabetes at 1.37 million. Liver diseases, apathetic to them at 1.32. We don't give two damns about road injuries at 1.24. Self-driving cars could work if we open sourced it. Shoot, you could have flying vehicles if you defund the Invention Security Act of 1951 and release the higher energy propulsion technologies that you see flying around on TV that somebody's trying to convince you is a UFO, the US government. Kidney disease is 1.23. We've been poisoning kidney disease through food and pesticides. Tuberculosis is another one. HIV, AIDS, don't get me started with Fauci and genocide against the LGBTQ community. It boggles my mind that anybody would have any support for Fauci anymore. If you just look into what he did and the millions of people who died while he tried to make profit from HIV, AIDS, just do your homework. 954,000. That was a genocide on US soil, African soil, and other places as well. Suicide was 700,000, 800,000 for suicide. Put that at 800,000 for suicide. Suicide went through the roof during the shutdownicide. I learned that. I actually learned how depressed many people are. They said the suicide rate was so high in California that they couldn't even deal with. The morgue wasn't overrun with cuckoo virus. The morgue was overrun with suicides. Insanity that anybody's considering this nonsense again. Malaria, 600,000, which is crazy because malaria was the #1 killer going back since the beginning of time. Malaria was at the top of the charts until we got Rockefeller medicine, and now funnily, well, not funnily, sadly, we beat malaria by at least the 15. We beat the most evolved killer on this planet. Nothing has killed more human beings than malaria. And we somehow beat that with our for-profit systems. Homicide, 400,000. Of course, we don't care about that. We like to keep people in artificial scarcity and survival mode to where they'll pick up a gun or a knife and go do what they got to do to survive. Unfortunately, could have fixed that as well. Parkinson's disease, that's another one we could have, well, I don't know if we could fix it. I don't know much about Parkinson's disease, but it's up there. It's still above cuckoo flu. Drowning, meningitis, nutritional deficiencies, which pretty much feeds all the rest of them at 269,000. Protein, energy, malnutrition, maternal disorders, alcohol use, drug use, conflict, and finally down to where the cuckoo virus would land. And that's including what they did to the poor elderly in the nursing home, and you're also including the bad statistics from the false positive tests in and around 166,000. It's a damn shame, people. It's a damn shame. We all going to hell, y'all. Well, we are in hell. We are in hell. Enjoy. Enjoy. You have no choice but to support this. All right, I'm finished the comments. I'm gonna get out. Y'all still fussing, y'all done. All diseases are above my God. Yeah, exactly. And this is a crazy thing, Christine, like that anybody would actually consider listening to the people who subsidize the top 20 killers of the human beings on the planet above the thing that you're scared to get. That's a damn shame. Damn shame. Insanity. But anyway, no, this is the video I loved. I always wanted to show you guys this. This is, I posted a link for it. Vincent's video on what is a virus. You know, I enjoy the fact to know that in 1 teaspoon of ocean water, billions of viruses. You don't need to be scared of it. Everywhere you dig down, everywhere you look, viruses everywhere. They're not alive, they're not out to get you, they're a part of our ecosystem. If you can make an industry fighting something that's literally everywhere and you can get people to be scared of that, you might as well make an industry fighting dirt. They will rule the world if you continue to go along with their little war on nature. Insanity to me. I love this little kid. He's funny as stuff. Anyway, comments and I'm gonna go. High diving in a kiddie pool. All right, well, there you go, Beaufort. That's not helpful, but that's what we're doing. I can be aggressive, however, mostly tactical. I give warning shots, meditate, set intention, take action. That can be seen as aggressive in alignment. Well, Melissa, you are a thug. So, yeah, you're just a thug. But you're a thug with love, like Bone Thugs and Harmony. You're like a thug with some love, but you're rough. And I know you do what you do when you got to do it, how you got to do it, and why you got to do it when you got to do it. And I have no idea how you exist with somebody that. No, we won't go down that road. We won't touch that. We hit that earlier. Anyway, I just have much love to you people who love people so much that you can live and exist with people who really don't give two damns about reality and happy to just be proudly on a virtual signaling team while you got millions and millions and millions of people who die every year from the ignorance and apathy of corporations, let alone the subsidies of government, but then you to do it too. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame, people. All right. They do to the air. Wait a minute. They do the air. Wait a minute. They do the air and see what's different. All right. Kentucky Fried Mama. How do they know that the virulence weren't captured from the air? Well, they do know that the virulence are in the air. That's one thing that Vincent does talk about, right? They're by design, these particles, they're aerial. I mean, they're aerosol. They're not accidentally aerosol. They want to fly on the air. They want to float. Like everywhere you go, these things are just floating and you're breathing them in. Now, most of them are like plant viruses and slug viruses and ochre viruses and deer viruses, and it's hard for them to jump species, but you're breathing them in all the time. And human viruses, they're everywhere. You know, droplet form is how we protect ourselves, by clumping them up and getting them out. But then that droplet evaporates and they go right back to their existing form to spread as wide as they can. That's why you can't be scared of them. And if you are, you need to have a positive pressure, level 3 biosuit, the same way OSHA regulates it for the employees. If anybody who spends a lot of time around this family of viruses, that's exactly what you got to have. If you don't have that, you're wasting everybody's time. You're making up a whole lot of nonsense and you're causing a whole lot of problems on some bullshit. All right. Thug is a term of endearment to Gerard. It is, Lori. When I say thug is not a bad thing. Lori's a thug when she needs to be. It's not a bad thing. To me, when I use that term, it's somebody who's got a mission that they're on and they'll die trying. They're going to do what they need to do. And it's a good thing that everybody has a little bit of thug in them. Right? That's like poor people. Like usually they'll use it for poor people in the hood and trailer park or somewhere else, where, you know, they're kids who are raised up to be thugs because we allowed billionaires to take all the resources and the land from them. And we're okay with that and them growing up with no hope and us not changing the system because we're doing pretty well, so we don't want to change any damn thing. So it's good to be a thug about some things. I like to consider myself, Lori, a thug for doing what children need. Not what children say, doing what children need. Children need freedom. They need clean water. They need clean land. They need their own land. Water is life. Land is freedom. They need all the things that we did not have that turned us into psychopaths. The problem, the military, industrial, capitalist complex, the solution, socialism. Disagree. I disagree, Paul Bradley. It's not a solution. That's just going back in time to another solution that did not work, an unsolution. We have enough history. Once again, we don't need any of the isms. We need to leave people the hell alone. That's always my stance, Paul. You know, leave people alone. It's not anybody else's job to be under your form of control or whoever you want to put in control of the authority. Just leave people alone. The planet works right under natural law. The planet works right when everybody leaves everybody alone. It does not work when you use force to force other people to live the way you want them to live. Like, I can't go down with that. Like, once again, we come to these paradigm shifting moments where we can shift the paradigm, where things are shut down and we can make a difference. And we fail all the damn time because instead of going a new direction to a new system based in modern technology, we decide to let's go back and do something else. And usually for me, when I think about that, it's usually because those people they don't want to fight the power. They want to have the power. They don't want to control, someone else controls the power and they want it. Or another system controls the power and they want it to be in their system. I'm completely against that. I'm completely against power as a model. You cannot have any power over people. Leave people alone. That's always my stance. Just leave them alone. People become happy, pleasant things when we leave them the hell alone. When we try to control people, make them do this, it's like trying to control a wife or abuse. To me, it's abuse. All these isms are abusive systems. We keep telling ourselves that it's okay to abuse people, and I don't think abuse is okay. I think people need to be free. I sprout my mouth off too much sometimes. You never do, Lori. You're always supposed to sprout your mouth off. Once again, if you feel that you do, then you control that. If you do because you're worried about how other people take it or they're telling you, then that's foul. You need to speak. We need people to speak more, not less, especially women, and probably LGBTQ community, probably children, and we probably need men like myself to say a hell of a lot less, but good luck with that. Good luck with that. But I speak for them best that I can, right? We need to look back in history and look at all the people we've abused, and that includes poor whites, by the way. All the people we've abused, and give them more of a voice. And we need to listen to those who we don't hear from. We need to listen to the people in Yemen. We need to listen to the people in Syria. We need to listen to all the people we've been apathetically abusing. And usually when you listen to most people, they say the same thing. They say, leave me alone. Leave me alone. That's it. This is my land, it's my water. I'm gonna live how I choose to live. Leave me alone. And we can't seem to leave people alone because we want them to be subject to our ideas. And to me, that's abuse. That's wrong. Right? There's another idea like capitalism, socialism, and communism. It's called rape. And I think that when you stop using your ideas to force other people to live and deal with and endure what you want them to endure because it benefits you, then we're good to go. But abuse is abuse. Abuse is always abuse. We can try to put ice cream on it with some basil. We can try to put some cilantro. We can put some sugar on it. We can do anything we want to it. Forcing other people is abuse. Period. End of story. All right. I would like to see a social experiment. Men and their ideas. Wait a minute. Get the modern hemisphere. And women get the southern hemisphere. 2 years, then compare. Hell no. Tiana? No, well, you know what? No, okay, y'all can do that. I'm not gonna be in that experiment. Y'all can do that all you like. Well, you know what? But you don't have to do the patriarchal one because we already got that. It's the crap sandwich we got now. And bonobos, we got that from the woman's side. So we already know what'll happen. And to be honest with you, I talk positive about the bonobos, but they still put their fingers in each other's butts and smell and try to find the good bananas. I don't think that's a good idea. They're a matriarchal society. They're much more peaceful. But the real story about the chimps and the bonobos, and I think Beaufont probably hit on this one too. He does like to do some good tweaking of thoughts, which is that, the chimps are foul because they're patriarchal driven, right? Based in evolution, how environment drove them, and they're violent. They kill their women, they rape their women, they eat and kill their children, and the bonobos don't, right? Because they didn't have the violent issues they had to deal with. So the only thing that was scarce, it wasn't food, it wasn't water, it wasn't safety, it was coochie. And so obviously, the women have more power. And while a society controlled matriarchal is more peaceful, and it might have to do with the matriarchs are the ones that are the creators, right? They carry the light. It is more peaceful. The bonobos are more peaceful than the chimps. A human society would be more peaceful under matriarchal control, but it still is an ism, right? It's still, you have somebody in power that shouldn't be in power. I believe in no power, right? I don't believe in power. Power doesn't make any sense to me. Nobody should control you. So a matriarch controlled society is still an ism, right? So that's why I don't agree with that. I just don't think anybody should. Power doesn't need to exist. Power, like money, just doesn't need to exist. That's my point, Tiana. So it could be interesting. I'm gonna get this damn thing. I'm gonna get him. He's going for my breakfast. That's my banana. All right. But he's trying to get in my nose. I ain't having that happen. That's why people watch live streams. Hey man, you gotta watch this live stream. This brother, he can't stop eating these damn bananas. And then he's trying to save the world, help children, all kind of crazy stuff. People get to fight, yelling, screaming on this thread. He talking about all kind of crazy stuff, from aliens, the UFOs, the free energy, to change every damn thing. And every now and then, something will fly in his nose. You should watch this. This man is crazy. All right. This is the world of death, and we awaken into reality. This is a world of death, Karen. Karen Smith, I think we're in hell, and once we do what we're supposed to do here, we'll go on to another dimension. But I kind of think we keep coming back because we haven't done it yet. So all my focuses are, I think we've done this before. Let's just do the right thing. Let's do the right thing. There was a movie, Spike Lee, Do the Right Thing. Let's just do the right thing so we get on to the next adventure. Like, we keep going back to step one. Go step one, step two, step one, step two, step one. Can we go to step three? We should be on step 10 by now. We can skip a few steps. And I think that's a resource-based economy. I think it's an automation economy. It's an economy where robots do what they're best at doing, software does what it's best at doing, and we just leave all the humans alone. Whatever you want to do, you go do. Everybody do them. You know, the planet would be balanced and fair, ecosystems would be lush, and nothing would be destroyed. You don't need a government, you just need some sort of facilitatement that you swap and force people to do it. Because nobody want to do it. It'll be like that community in Mexico, where it's like a tribal community where they took over that city and nobody wanted to be in government. It's like America when it started. Nobody wanted to do that low vibe stuff. They wanted to go be free. See, when you have to make universal, I hate the word laws, but for the lack of a better word, when you got to make universal laws that everybody agrees with, because the people have the power, they're the sovereigns, not a socialism, a communism, or capitalism kings. There's really nothing you can do. You got about 1.5 laws. you got laws like you can't kill people, you can't violate people, and that's it. I mean, you really ain't gonna get much further beyond that. You can't tell people what to do with their land, with their hair. You can't tell them what to do on the job. You can't, as long as they're not killing people, they're not abusing and violating other people. It's like, I don't want to go be and facilitate a government. We don't get to do nothing. We just gotta sit around. We got 100 million people on the planet, 100 billion people on the planet now, and they don't want us to do anything that takes away their rights. So we can't really do nothing. Nobody will want to do it. Your only job in facilitating it is make sure the robots are working, make sure the food is growing, check on the monkeys, make sure they're good to go. The bears, they got the ecosystem, the fish are doing great. Ain't nobody dumping nothing in the ocean. Okay, we're good to go. Boring. You want to go be free. All right. How to make government boring again. We'll make America great again. Make the planet sustainable again. Make government boring again. Cheers and thanks to the thugs in our lives. We got a whole bunch of them around here, don't we, Sandra? So do I, and sometimes I make a complete ASS out of myself. Anna, I do that all the time. That's fun. What would life be like if you took yourself seriously? Don't take yourself too seriously. Enjoy your life. Get out there, make some mistakes. Fall down. Be a jackass sometimes. Paul is pretending to be an intellectual. Oh, Lord. Like I said, I try to stay out of it. You know what? I avoid confrontation for the most part. I just tell people what I think and I just keep it moving. Children need woke adults. They are 100% pure of heart. Yeah, I think they are. But you got a lot of adults too, Karen, that are pure of heart. You got a lot of real solid adults out there. It's not just children. They break us, but some of those kids keep that into adulthood, just not many of them. Communism lowers my vibe. All the isms lower my vibe, Melissa. All the isms. Just leave everybody alone. Just leave everybody. People don't have experiences, persons do. The only thing that matters is a person experience. I mean, we've said that before, Melissa, right? There's no gay experience. That just doesn't exist. You have people who are gay, who have personal experiences, which are all very different. There's no black experience. Ain't no black person out there ever had what I had. There's no male experience. Ain't no men out there been through what I've been through. You know, the person's experience is valid, not the people. We got to get rid of all these isms, all these identities and categories, All these subhuman categories, they all need to go away, especially with all the ideas of controlling people. I control Petri dish, won't insert it. I control Petri dish, would insist it to be collected at the same time, close enough to the collection, yet far enough away so as to not collect any of the spread. That's just too much, Mr. I'm sorry. I don't, I don't even know what we're saying. Let me see. I can only read short comments. They do it a few seconds before the whale blows. Oh, y'all still talking about the viruses and the whales. They having a good old conversation. See, yeah, why y'all today over there having a great conversation on YouTube, being nice and peaceful and loving and friendly and huggy and hippie? They gonna do s'mores later while y'all here fighting on Facebook. I guess Facebook has a culture though. It used to be YouTube. They used to fight all the damn time. Maybe I just got good. I have better people on YouTube on this channel than most around YouTube. Most YouTube comments I don't even look at. They go way. I like solutions. I like just discussion and discourse. I don't like nonsense. I love hearing men, not Betos though. Betos though. Okay, well Melissa, that's good to go. That's good to go. Good morning, Rachel. Insanity. Try it one more time. Okay. All right. Girardism. What is Girardism, Paul? I don't even know what Girard. If there's a such thing as called Girardism, it's just leave everybody alone. That's it. And nobody should do that. Nobody should do that because I say so. They should do that if it makes sense to them. If they use critical thought, then do that. But don't follow me. Don't do what I do. Don't go where I go. Don't none of that. If anything here to you makes sense, then you run with it. But if for me, in keeping my religion to myself, but just sharing my thoughts with people, my belief is leave everybody the hell alone. That's my belief. I think everybody becomes that if you just leave everybody the hell alone. This is why I get along with white nationalists. I get along. I got friends in the KKK. As long as you want to leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. You don't have to like black skin, blue skin, purple skin, nothing like that. Don't drag nobody behind the truck. Burn no crosses. We good. A lot of women don't like men. I'm fine with that too. A lot of people don't like fat people, chubby people. They don't like skinny people. I'm good with that too. As long as you doing you in your space, we're good to go. So if there's a Girardism, Brother Paul, it's just leave everybody alone. That's all I got. I'd make 4 hour videos every damn morning. That's all I say. Leave everybody the hell alone. Don't lie to nobody. Open source economy. Leave everybody the hell alone. The earth goes the way it's supposed to. Forced safety is rape. Isn't it, Melissa? And that's how rapists think too, don't they? Oh yeah, well, you're something that I'm allowed to abuse. What I do to you is safe. What I do to you, how I abuse you is fine. And a lot of abusive men do that with their wives too, and abusive women with their husbands. They convince themselves that for other people, the abuse that they have for them is good for them. It's never good for them. It's never good. Never, ever, ever. Leave everybody the hell alone. Everybody needs to stop being abusers, and we need to just be human beings. Leave everybody the hell alone. That's all I'm saying. If there's a Girardism. That's just one solution. That's all I care about. I don't like argument. I don't like discussions. I don't like to make anybody think like me. That's all that narcissistic, sociopathic stuff I used to have. I done mostly cleansed of that. I eat my bananas, so I poop twice a day. Get that stuff out. I don't like to control nobody. I just like solutions. I don't like no discussions. I don't even care what people think, Juan. All my 2 cents is everybody give into the discussion, take it away. Get a solution, change your behavior. I get that one from Ty. Just change your behavior. Just change your behavior, change your behavior, change. But I can't say the way Ty does. Just change your behavior. We need to do another video too, Ty. Anyway, I gotta go. Juan, we gotta do a video as well. Lori, it's been a minute. We gotta do a video. Paul, we ain't done a video in a minute either. I'm fine with everybody's belief. Again, I like all ideas. Just tell us and then keep it to yourself. Don't abuse anybody with your ideas. That's just a religion. We need to let go of the cults. Anyway, this Gerard gotta go. Y'all have a fantastic day. Free the people. You only want to free the people till you free your mind. You only want to free your mind when you realize everybody just needs to be free. And mostly free from you and me. Y'all have a great day. Love you.
wanna free, 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 boom, boom, free the people. Do you wanna free, beat, boom, 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 free the people from the bottom to the top?